Greetings YouTube, you join me on a gloriously sunny winter morning. I'm in the village of Dinton in South Wiltshire, pretty little village. I'm going to be walking from here across to Compton Chamberlayne, then up onto Compton Down along the Droveway, and then back down through Fovant Wood, past the old army bunkers and through to Philip's house, back into Dinton. It's going to be about 9 miles in total. So hope you can stay with me and enjoy the walk. It's got to be one of the quaintest little bus stops ever. How cute is this? Little thatched little bench. Very impressive. It's been an enjoyable start to this walk. Pretty village Dinton. There's lots of thatched cottages, etc. It's been a little bit of a boggy start, shall we say. Just let me show you this. Yeah, in places the path, there's a lot of springs suddenly come up, so yeah, the path is quite waterlogged in places. As you can see, the water is running there, so it's a spring. It's not just clearly that'll show up, but excuse me a second, sorry, there we go. Yeah, spring, the water's running. Yeah, and they've all sprung up in various places, so and this one seems to be following the course of the path I want to take. But anyway, that's what you have to expect this time of year. Hopefully we won't get too wet and boggy, because this is right at the start of the walk, and if I have to get wet feet, I have to get wet feet, but I'd rather do that towards the end of the walk than the start of the walk. Anyway, never mind. keep going, hope for the best. We're now coming up to a crossing on the railway line. There's no control as such, you've just got to take care and use your wits. Check that there's nothing coming. All clear. Well, there's where all the water's come from. Pretty little bridge. This, I'm guessing, is the River Nadder. I'll have to double check, and if it isn't, I'll let you know on the screen. Oh, it's so nice to get out in this lovely weather. Like most people, I managed to put a bit of weight on over Christmas. I thought I was being relatively good, but still managed to put a few, well, probably 4 or 5 pounds on. So Operation burn that off and try and take some more off as well. So it's good to be getting some exercise. Oh yeah, when I'm not walking, I've got a cheap exercise bike that I use. I do a 40-minute sort of routine, 5-minute warm-up, 30 minutes of fairly fast-paced cycling with 3 high-intensity, 2 30 seconds and one whole minute of high intensity in that 30-minute, and then a 5-minute cool down. I'm getting better and better at it, and that is definitely improving my aerobic fitness, as I'm not huffing and puffing quite as much as I used to on the hills when I'm walking, although at the moment it's not really having much effect on weight as such, but that's got to be down to what I eat, because unfortunately my biggest problem is I like the bees, the bread, the beer and biscuits, I suppose. So yeah, I'm to cut right back on all those, and try and eat as low a carb a diet as I can. I'm not going to go full no carb keto sort of route, because it's just not me, but try and cut the carbs down as much as I can, because I have managed to lose a bit of weight in the past using that method. It requires a bit of willpower to start off with, but once you get into it, you actually get used to the food and don't yearn for anything in particular, and you feel quite satiated after eating, because that's the biggest thing is training your stomach, to start off with, but also eating the foods that will fill you up or make you feel full for longer. Because the problem with eating sugary foods is they might fill you up, but within 30 minutes, an hour, you feel hungry again. That's where you tend to go picking and eating too much of the bad stuff. So yeah, cutting out all sugary foods, and as much, veg, or certainly green veg, as I can eat. Yeah, and it's worked for me in the past, so we'll have another go, see if it works. I'm no dietitian, but I just do what works for me. Just going on a small detour, just going to have a look at the village church in Compton Chamberlayne. You might get to see Compton Place or Compton Park, I don't know. Just come through the farmyard, and we're now going to climb up to the top of Compton Down. Probably won't be able to see much because of the sun being in the way, but we're going to walk along that ridge line over there and then drop back down. Right, we've just come up this nice road that farmers laid. It's a private road, and that road continues all the way up the hill up there. And unfortunately that's now private because the footpath takes us up over this stile here, and then you can't really see, but straight up that hill. It's literally straight up a hill. I'm not sure how much of a climb it is. I'll put the profile up on the screen, but yeah, a pretty steep climb. You know what I was saying earlier about being a bit fitter? But I don't know if you can get some sense as to how steep this hill is. That's where we started, down the bottom there. Down through those bushes. Yeah. But anyway, starting to get some nice views from up here now. It's the way we've come, looking over there in the distance to Compton Chamberlayne, where we just walked through. Such a gorgeous view up here. I thought I'd take the opportunity to stop for a coffee. And here we are onto the onto the droveway on top of Compton Down. Walk along this now for about a mile or so before we drop back down. This droveway at one time, sort of 15th, 16th, 17th century, was the main road, for want of a better word, from certainly Shaftesbury to Salisbury, possibly even further west, before the toll roads were built, what is now the A30. So if you wanted to travel by horse, certainly this is the way you came. One or two carts could make it, but you'd have to have pretty powerful horses because of the hills. We've just come from there, and we're going to be dropping down the hill shortly. Over there in the distance are a couple of the Fovant cap badges. I don't know if you can see them. I think we're going to be dropping down this hill. So walking along the line, I think it's up there, into Fovant, and then through the village and up through the valley, and then round the back of those woods there, back into Dinton. It's all a bit muddy, this last little bit down this field. I don't know how well you can see. My boots, they're now just about 3 sizes bigger than what they were. I managed to get some of the mud off. We're now entering the village of Fovant. This barbed wire fence marks the boundary into these woods here, which were part of the old RAF Chilmark ammunition storage dump that was made during World War II. This is the Dinton storage area. During the war, they stored an awful lot of the RAF bombs around here, some of them in mines, at Chicksgrove's quarry and some of the underground workings, but this particular part I think was mostly overground, or things that were buildings that were built in amongst the trees and hidden from view from the Luftwaffe, not easy to spot from the air. It continued to operate, I think it was until the late 70s, maybe early 80s, till it closed down. It's now in private hands, and the London Bond Company or something like that, as a bonded warehouse, now use it to store high value goods. We've actually made a mistake. Should have gone slightly across country at that last watermill area. But I can't be bothered to go up, retrace my step and rectify that now. So I'm going to carry on along this track. It'll bring us to a pretty part down by Fonthill Lake anyway. And then hopefully we can get through some of the woods into Dinton or Philip's house. It's been an absolutely stunning day so far. Really enjoying this walk, hence why I think, you know, I'll just extend it ever so slightly, because it's worth taking in that view anyway. Anyway, chat later. There's the stunning view I talked about earlier. It's Tefontivius. I think I might have said Fonthill earlier, but no, it's Tefont. I'm making a bit of a detour. Officially, I don't know whether I'm supposed to be here, but I didn't want to walk along the road because it's a busy old B road. There are paths in this forest, and I think there's some permissions to use them, but there's no signs to say you can't come this way, but there's nothing to say you can. So I'll just carry on, and if anybody stops me I'll plead ignorance and apologise. Right, we're now on the official footpath, so we're alright. Yeah, I don't think officially I should have come through that woods, but thankfully I didn't see anybody, so managed to get away with that one. So Dinton Park, in which stands Philip's house, which is just coming into view over there. It was built in the early 19th century by somebody called Wyndham, but he sold it in the early 1900s to a chap by the name of Phillips, who renamed the house in his name. it's owned by the National Trust, who I believe install tenants, for want of a better word, who look after the place. Well, I'm just coming to the end of the walk. It's just coming up to 2 o'clock. That's exactly 5 hours. I'm not sure how far it was, about 9.5, 10 miles. I've not been in any rush today. Stopped and admired the views, and it's been quite tricky going in the mud, etc. So not my normal pace, but it wasn't a race. It was a day to catch some vitamin D from the sun, which I've managed to do. It stayed sunny all day. Hopefully we've got some nice views. Yeah, definitely a walk I'd do again, maybe in the summer when it's less muddy. But yeah, not too taxing, a nice few hills just to get the heart rate going a bit, but nothing majorly bad. And yeah, it's just, as you can see, I'm trying to find my feet through the quagmire. That's the worst part. But anyway, that's what we've got to expect this time of year. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please come again, visit me again. I'm sure there'll be more films in the future. Thanks now, bye.